everyone, I'm Gadis of Made by Mutiara and welcome back to my channel. And guess what day it is? It's my birthday! Woohoo! So in today's video, I'm just gonna do something fun and show you how to do 4 different happy birthday calligraphy card ideas using brush pens or watercolor. For homemade greeting cards, it will be best to use thicker paper like cardstock or watercolor paper that is able to handle the water and the ink from the brush pens. If you watch until the end of the video, I'm gonna share with you a tip of how to flatten your watercolor piece when it becomes warped. So you want to stay tuned for that later on. Everything I'm using today will be listed down in the description below, including the colors that I use for each card. So if you're ready to make a homemade happy birthday card, let's go see what that is. Alright, so the first thing that we want to do is to choose the colors for your card, and for this entire video, I'm just going to stick to using the citrus palette of the Tombow Dual Brush Pens, and you'll see how I use them differently throughout the video as well. So for the first card, we are always going to sketch out the design in a pencil and letter in happy birthday. And for me, I always prefer to do the longer words first, so in this case birthday, and then I can see how I can fit the word happy with it. So that's what I'm doing now. And after you are done with that, you are going to trace and letter over using the small tip brush pen, and the one I'm using here is the Flatten dual tip brush pen, which is one side black and the other side grey. And next, I'm going to draw a border around the letters as well as some horizontal lines, and this will act as like the barrier to how far the leaves can go. So to draw the leaves, I'm just going to use the brush tip side of the marker, and what you want to do is to draw the branches like this, like the shape of the letter Y, and you start drawing the leaves from the furthest point of the branch, and then you use the body of the brush to like draw a letter C sort of, to draw one side of the leaf, and then you draw the other side of the leaf in the same way, and you see it got this nice gap in the middle. It's up to you if you want to leave the gap. I personally like the look of it with the gaps in the middle, and it's fine if you vary the sizes of the leaves as well. And what you want to try to do is to achieve a very pointy tip in the leaves, and it's quite hard because the Tombow Dual Brush Pens are quite thick in general. So you can go back in with the bullet point maybe, or if you want to achieve a very nice tip, I would suggest to use a paintbrush instead. And after you are done with the first branch, you are going to move on to the next one using a different color. So this is where we are just going to stick to using 3 colors throughout the entire card, and I'm just going to alternate between them. So if you realize that you have some branches or you have some leaves that don't fit to the branch, it's fine. You can just use them to fill up the spaces coming in from different directions as well. So I try to make sure that the amount of leaves each branch has is equal, but it's okay if some are more than others. So the reason why we drew the border from earlier is to set the limit to how far the leaves can go. So this is actually the reason why when I drew in the leaves, I start from the furthest point and work my way down, just to make sure that I don't draw a leaf that is too far out and exceeding that pencil border that we drew earlier. Next, I'm going to turn the paper 180 degrees so that I can do the leaves on the top side. So I'm just going to do the same process, and you don't have to stick to this orientation. It is actually much easier to draw the leaves as you turn the paper around, but just for the purposes of this tutorial, I just decided to stick the paper down with blue tack and show you how I did this process in time lapse. And yeah, as you can see, eventually, even if your leaves are not perfect, the overall effect is quite beautiful. And after you erase all the pencil lines, look at what you've made. It's so nice. Okay, I'm praising myself, sorry. But look at how effective the leaves are as decorations. So this is something that you can make for somebody who loves leaves or maybe loves plants. And yeah, I really hope you try this birthday card design. So if drawing leaves is a bit too time consuming for you, but you want your card to still look very colorful, then maybe you can do something like this, where each letter of the word happy birthday is with a different color. So you can of course use like 5 to 10 different colors, but personally I like to stick to 3 colors. I don't know, something about 3 colors just make the entire combination looks nice. So to fill in the top and bottom parts of this card, what I did is to draw these overlapping semicircles, and I alternated each of the colors the same way I alternated the color in the lettering. So as you can see, I have colored in very easily with the brush pens, no problem, and it actually looks kind of nice. So this is something that you can do to fill in any spaces, and I don't know what about this color combination or the shape of the semicircle that just make it look very festive to me. And because the orange and the lime green, which in this case I just realized is actually called chartreuse, the colors are a bit too light. So what I did is to add in a light grey drop shadow just so that the words look more obvious. So what are drop shadows? You just color in to the right, you just color into the right and the bottom of each stroke of the letter. And just like that, you are finished with the card. So I would say that this kind of card is perfect if you last minute forget your colleague's birthday, or you last minute, alamak, I forgot to buy a card. Then you can do this card in under 5 minutes. Or if you have no idea what the person likes, you're like, you know what, this design is nice and festive enough, they will appreciate it, you can do this card for them. And the next card is one of my favorite things to do, which is to paint landscapes and backgrounds. So what you want to do is to use some washi tape to block out 3 rows. So I'm going to be writing happy birthday Gadis because it's my birthday card and I want to address it to me. So first thing you're going to do before painting is to lay down your colors on a surface like this dinner plate that I'm using. So what you can see is that I'm using the colors from the brush pens as watercolors, and I'm painting with a normal paintbrush. So I put a bit of water on my paintbrush, I pick up the color on the plate, and I paint it on the paper. But, oh no, I forgot to say this, you need to make sure that your paper is damp first before you put down any color. That will really help make the blends smooth. And what you notice after drying the first layer is that the colors are still a bit light. So if you want to make it more vibrant, then you want to paint it a second time with another layer. So this is what I am doing over here. And what you don't do is to just paint parts of it. If you want to paint, you should paint the entire area. If not, it's gonna look patchy with the extra blob of water there. But if you don't mind it, then it's fine. Next, I'm going to use the lightest green to draw the furthest mountain at the back, and I'm going to use the other green to draw the mountain on the left, and the darkest green to draw the mountain on the right. And because it doesn't look dark enough, I actually went back in to draw some shaded parts to add some dimension, but it's up to you. Maybe you want to use a darker green, also can. And when you peel the washi tape, please make sure that the piece is completely dry, because what happens if it's not? It's going to rip and ruin your entire piece. It's going to lift up the paper and then you are going to cry because now you have to restart all over again. So make sure you check that it's dry. To finish off the landscape, I want to add stars to the sky. So you can use a white jelly roll pen, which is what I'm doing here, to add stars or dots as stars. And something that you can also add here is like other things you find in the sky, I guess, like a meteor, flying star, unidentified flying object, I don't know. But you can add that also if you want, or you can add a moon. I think I should have added a moon here, but I didn't. For the lettering, we are going to sketch it out with a pencil first, and I'm going to be using an extended style where the letters are more separated. And after I'm happy with the sketch, I'm gonna go over them with a fine liner. I think it's a 0.5 point. The one I'm using here is, I think, the Pigeon Letters fine liner, and I use a 4 calligraphy to just add the extra line to the downstrokes just to make it look a bit extra. And once you erase the pencil lines, you are done with this card. So if you know somebody who is a nature lover, a travel lover, this is the kind of card you can make for them. And of course, feel free to use any other monochromatic shades like blues, or even do a sunset sky. That would be really nice. And for the last card, what is a birthday if you do not have a birthday cake? So this is what I'm doing here. You just start off by drawing 3 different size cylinder shapes stacked on top one of another, and then just do some squiggly lines just to show the frosting, or is it icing? Yeah, the icing dripping off to the sides. Before you start painting, always remember to put a bit of water on the paper so that when you add the paint later on, it actually blends so much easier. I swear, I have tried it without the water part and it was so difficult. So remember just to put a bit of water and then blend however you want. So the reason why I chose red, orange, yellow for this cake, I know it's not a conventional color for a cake, but it's because it's my favorite color, and this is art, I can do whatever I want. So don't worry about using whatever color that you're thinking about. If you know what color that person likes, or if you know what kind of cake they like, then you choose your colors based on that. So after that layer is completely dry, you're gonna take the brown brush pen marker and color in your chocolate icing. And what I did after that is to just add some darker parts here and there to make it look a bit more realistic, but it does not look realistic. So anyway, I used a grey brush pen to add some shadows to the piece, and then I erase all the pencil lines after that. Next, I'm going to be sketching the words Happy 29th birthday, Gadis, because that is how old I am, guys. Oh my gosh, 1 year away from 30s. Anyway, I just wanted to show a different variation of writing happy birthday without any lettering. So I used my capital letters, and my capital letters are not that neat, but it's fine. But what I did is to make the vertical lines a rectangle of roughly the same width, just to add some sort of like a fancy effect to it. But anyway, what I did later on is I went back in with my brush pens and colored each alternate rectangle a different color, so it is more colorful in a very simple way. So this is something that you can do as well. For the final touch, we are going to add a glow to the candles very simply with a yellow brush pen, and you are done with this card. Yay! I really like how it turned out, especially with the cake, and even though the lettering is not as nice, I'm still happy with it. You know, you have to be proud of what you make in the end. And I just want to say that whatever card that you make, it doesn't have to look perfect, because you must know that it is always the thought that counts, and the fact that it's handmade by you is something that the recipient will always appreciate. So as you can see, the paper is clearly warped. It's no longer flat. So this is one thing that you can do to flatten your paper. And what you want to do is to have some water, not pasta sauce, sorry. This is just a jar of water. And you want a paintbrush. So what you're going to do is to flip this to the other side. I'm using a very big flat brush, and you're just going to damp the other side. So you want to do this before you write any messages on your card. So while it is nice and damp, you can see it's starting to warp, right? So that means that it's more pliable. Is that the word? I don't know. But what you want to do is put a very heavy weight on it and then leave it to dry. I hope it dries. I think it should dry. But yeah, you just want to put a heavy weight on it, and then when we come back, we'll see how it is. So the time right now is 2:50, so let's check back in a bit. Okay, 1 hour later, the time now is 3:49 p.m. Let's see how the piece looks after 1 hour. So I'm just going to lift this and slide it out. It looks dry. Yeah, it's mostly dry already, and there you go. So it's much flatter now. You don't have the warping that happened earlier, so when I lay it flat, it stays flat. So yeah, that's what you can do if you want to flatten your watercolor pieces. So there you have it. Those are the 4 different birthday card ideas that I hope you can make at home in case you spend too much money on the gift and then you're like, you know what, I'm gonna make my own card, because the best kind of cards to give are the ones that you make yourself. So if you have a favorite, let me know in the comments below which one was the one that you are looking forward to making the most. If you made this card for a special someone, tag me on Instagram at Made by Mutiara so that I can see it and say yay, happy birthday to that person as well. And know that in all these designs, you can definitely add your own twist to it. You can add flowers to it, you can add splatters to it. Whatever it is, I hope that this inspires you to do more homemade cards for your loved ones. Happy birthday! If you are a Leo, you're born in August, it is your season, and I wish you a high five for being born in the best month of the year. For my birthday, I wish all of you to stay safe, stay happy, wherever you are in the world, keep on creating, because that's the one thing that can bring us all together. And I just want to say thank you so much once again for all your support in my lettering journey, whether it's on Instagram or on YouTube. I cannot wait to see what the next year has to bring. So if you like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel for more videos. Go and watch some of the other videos that I've made in the past, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye! It's my birthday, Retro. It's my birthday. Look at the camera, say hello! Happy birthday.